Welcome to Power Play. My name is Megan. I hope you guys are having a great morning so far. I just wanted to take a second and say thank you so much for showing hashtag Stay Home Yoga and tag me on it because we are doing a contest and a giveaway, $50 Lululemon gift card and a Karma Yoga t-shirt. So keep practicing at home. Keep up with all of that work that you're doing internally. I know these are tough times, so let's all be in this together. And one way we can do that is whatever time of day you do it, just come onto your mat and find that practice. So today's Power Hour class is going to be a little different because I'm going to structure it that you could break it into two 30-minute sessions if you want. Or you can stay with me and do the entire thing. It just kind of depends on how much time you have for yourself this morning. So we're going to start in child's pose. Remember that beach towel or that blanket, perhaps underneath your knees if you'd like, and starting to sit all the way back. You will want to have maybe a yoga block, or I have some novels. You can always take a book instead of a block. And coming down into that child's pose space, start breathing. Inhale, exhale, close your eyes. Feel your back get a little longer on the inhale. On the exhale, notice the shoulders relax, jaw relaxed. Starting to press your tongue against your front teeth, just behind them, and beginning that swirl in the back of your throat for your Ujjayi breathing. Maybe creating that little Darth Vader sound in the back of the throat. And on that next inhale, stretching the arms out nice and long, tenting up through the palms, coming up onto the fingers, lifting the wrists away from the floor. Energize the arms. It doesn't matter if you're sitting all the way back towards your heels or not, but you're really taking that extended version of your child's pose. Head is right beside the biceps. Inhaling for 5. Exhale. Inhaling for 4. Noticing any shifts in the body. And then returning back to your relaxed version of child's pose, maybe you even fold the hands in and rest the head, or maybe you reach your arms around into embryo pose and rest the forehead on the floor. Taking 3 breaths here, starting to find your center. Cultivating that practice today of listening to your inner voice. Walking the hands back out in front from wherever they've been, come back into that extended child's pose, lifting the palms away from the floor, lifting the wrists off the earth, energizing the arms. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Really tuck those shoulder blades into your hip pockets. And then press your palms firmly to the earth. Really anchor in the index finger knuckle, the thumb knuckle, and the middle finger knuckle. Rock forward, tuck your toes under, and exhale your way into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. Curl your fingers on the mat. Firm your inner arms once again. Maybe shake your head gently from side to side. Walk the right foot to the center line. Take your left toes and just kind of tap them to that right heel. And we're going to rise up and down. If you're a runner, you might recognize this is a bit of a warm-up for your running. Just taking it into that space of articulating the foot. Not too much pressure in the hands, so if you're feeling too much, work down to your elbows, coming into a dolphin variation. And then step that left foot back down, that right foot out, and lower your knees to the earth. Walking the hands back under the shoulders. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, flaring your tailbone back, drop the belly down, send your eye gaze to neutral. Exhale, tuck and roll, hollow out that belly, really round, tuck the chin to the chest. We'll do that again, or if something else feels better, do that instead. We're getting right into practice today since we only have those 30 minutes to get that blood pumping. Coming back into that tabletop. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes, lift your knees, and press up and back to downward facing dog once again. Center up through that left foot just a little. Take your right toes and just kind of separate the big and second toe on either side of your Achilles tendon on that left leg. And just take it up and down a few times. Now firm your arms, feel your elbows extend. Root down through the index finger, middle finger knuckle, and the thumb, so the webbing of your hand is really tight to the mat. And then step that right foot back out again. Look forward towards your wrist. Bend your knees. Take as many steps up the midline as you'd like as you come into your first forward fold. Inhale to take your half lift. As you exhale, bend your knees a little. Rock that body weight forward into the balls of your feet and clasp your opposite elbow overhead. Now you can even see from me in the video, sometimes we like to lag our hips back. Really rock forward. Engage that low belly. If you want to keep your hands on the earth to catch yourself, absolutely do it. Shake your head from side to side. Feel your hamstrings lengthen. Draw your low belly in. Warming up through the quads. Tighten them up. Feel the corresponding lengthening of the back of your leg as you squeeze the front of your leg. One more breath. Send your fingertips to your shins or the floor. Inhale, take that half lift. Exhale, plant your palms to the mat and step your right foot back and then your left foot back into your plank position. Squeeze your inner arms towards one another. Feel your elbows rotate in towards the midline. So instead of having your elbows turning out and facing this direction, you're going to squeeze the inner arms towards one another, really squeezing through those chest muscles. Lift up through that low belly and breathe here for 5, 4, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze like you're squeezing an invisible block between the arms. And take that last inhale to rock slightly forward. Release the elbows a little as you lower into chaturanga. Switch to the tops of your feet, coming to that upward facing dog. And exhale into your downward facing dog. Look forward towards your wrist and take as many steps up the midline as you'd like. We'll find that forward fold one more time, but grab your block or your book. Inhale to take your half lift. Draw the low belly and rock your body weight forward. Exhale back into your forward fold. Again, maybe you clasp opposite elbow overhead. Maybe you use those bricks or those blocks and you build it up. As you start to lift up through the sits bones, elongate the spine over your legs. If you're like me and you have very long hamstrings, that might mean that your head is getting a little closer to the floor. It's okay, don't worry. Walk your feet apart from one another if you're having trouble with balance this morning. Let your head hang for 2 more breaths. Free up space in the back of that neck. Wiggle your jaw. Keep your ujjayi breathing, drawing that low belly in. And then inhale, finding that half lift. Take your blocks or your books and step them up to the highest level. Step just your left foot back into pyramid pose or Parsvottanasana. So in between your legs, you'll see there's a triangle that appears. Work your blocks back. Inhale, take your heart high. Exhale, find that fold. Draw your right hip back. Maybe walking the blocks down to their lowest level. Maybe just for a challenge, you reach your arms behind you. Feel your arms come alongside your body so that the heart keeps reaching long. Send the right foot forward and the left foot back. Maintain your breath as you zipper that low belly in. Breathing here for 3. Press the right foot forward, press the left foot back, but keep that right hip back. 1 more breath. Bring your hands back down to your blocks or to the floor. Slide them forward and start to lift that left leg up into the air for standing L shape. Kind of a warrior 3 variation here. Keep your hands anchored to the blocks or your books if you'd like, or start to ditch those all the way to the front edge of your mat, somewhere they're not going to be in your way. And maybe bending into that right knee just a little, let your hands leave the earth. Now use that muscular strength. Squeeze that left leg in line with the right hip. So really turn that knee down towards the floor. Give it a good squeeze here. Good. Stepping back into that forward fold. Take your time. That right leg's been working. Shake the knees out. Shake the hips out. Let it go. Inhale, take that half lift. Grab those blocks or those books. Step just the right foot back. You're in pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, that spine goes super long. So you take that half lift and maybe stay. As you exhale, maybe you start to come into that forward fold a little more deeply. You know your body the best, so stay authentic to your practice. If you have hypermobile knees, make sure you're not locking out. Again, you're using the thigh muscle. Maybe with the power of those feet, stretching apart from one another, you reach the arms back, opening up through the chest like a skier. Imagine you're going off of that ski jump. Press the left foot forward, press the right foot back, engage the low belly, not at the expense of the front knee, so really keep those feet active, keep that left hip working back, and take 2 more breaths. Inhaling, you're breathing in, exhaling, you're breathing out. Dropping your hands back to your bricks, inhale, take that half lift, maybe stepping those blocks back up again, walk them forward and lift that right leg up. Taking that standing L shape, working that power today. Draw that right knee down towards the floor and stay. Hands on those blocks. Traction the spine. Or maybe you start to work those blocks off the front edge of your mat. Taking that standing L shape or bending that left knee just a little. Find your balance. Focus on something out in front of you. Taking that little variation. Squeeze that right leg down towards the floor. See how you can find that muscular strength in all the little tiny places. One more big breath, you've got this. And then stepping back into your forward fold from wherever you've been, take your time. Bend into one knee and then the other. Maybe that was a big wake up for the hamstrings straight away. It's okay, we've got this together. Inhale, half lift. Exhale back to your fold. Sit back this time, so bend your knees. Now you're activating the hamstrings. Before we were lengthening them, now we're shortening them just a little as we sit into chair pose. As you exhale, swan dive back down over your legs. Inhale, little half lift. Exhale, step just the left foot back, but turn the heel down 45 degrees. Front knee stays bent, Virabhadrasana, Warrior 1. Palms might come to heart center, or hands might reach up for 2 more breaths. Maybe you take that goddess or goalpost arm, if that feels like you, opening up through the heart. Draw that right hip back. Exhale your hands down and around your right foot. Roll off your left heel. Slide those hands forward, lifting that left leg up. Good. Find that reach of the heart forward. Bend into the right knee a little, maybe hovering the hands away from the earth. Or maybe taking your hands to your blocks. Squeeze that left hip down. And dropping the fingers back to the mat, step the left foot beside the right foot. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, sit back, chair pose. Breathe into that chair. Feet as wide as you'd like them to be here. One more big inhale. Exhale, tip from your hip, finding your fold. Inhale, little half lift, step just the right foot back. Roll the heel down 45 degrees, my friends. Rising up, Virabhadrasana, Warrior 1. Now, hands where you feel most authentic, but pull the low rib in. That's the hard part, right? We always kind of like to come here a little, pull that low rib in, and find that big stretch along the top of that right hip. Good. Exhale your hands down and around your left foot. Roll off your right heel, slide your hands forward to blocks or to your floor, and lift that right leg up. Dial the right hip down just a little. Bend the left knee. Use that power of that single leg squat to lift the hands away from the earth or up onto your blocks. Zipper in that low belly and find your power here. Ooh, bring an A game this morning. Dropping those fingers down, dropping the foot. Inhale, half lift. Exhale back to your fold. Sit back, chair pose. Now you should start to feel the legs working here. Press the floor away and rise up to your strong mountain pose. Put all of your body weight into that right foot and lift that left thigh parallel to the floor. As you tip forward, bend into the right knee a little and start to send that left leg back, extending it out as you go. Bend into the right knee a little more. Softly step the left foot down, opening out into Warrior 2. Reach long from fingertip to fingertip. Feel that draw. Shoulders gliding down away from the ears. Squeeze the triceps so there's absolutely no angel wings. Good. Now dropping that left hand to that left thigh, right arm reaches up, taking a reverse. You might sneak that left arm behind you, deepening the bend in your right knee. Maybe you look down towards your left big toe. Coming back out into your Warrior 2, breathe for a moment. Shoulders roll down away from the ears, straighten that front leg if you need a little relief. Make goddess or goalpost arms with your arms, draw the left hip in and stay. Reach from fingertips all the way up towards the sky, all the way up towards the ceiling, and reach the right elbow apart from the left elbow. 2 more breaths. Drop the arms all the way back out, nice and long. Straighten through that right leg. Peel that left hip back. Reach long through that right arm. Dropping your fingers to your shin, to one of your blocks, or maybe to the floor if you're feeling that reach today. Now again, if you have a hypermobility in your knee, give it a little soft bend as you come into that extended triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Tuck the chin towards the chest and maybe look up towards that top arm. Feel the pubic bone lift towards the navel. 2 more breaths. Little micro bend in that front knee to rise back up juicily into your warrior 2. Straighten through the right leg. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat and tip from your hip, finding that fold. Bend into the left knee and the right knee. Pivot around towards your left foot at what used to be the back edge of your mat. Step your right foot in to meet your left foot. Inhale, take that little half lift. Exhale, back to your full. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Go strongly, my friends. Press the floor away and rise. Palms coming to press right at heart center. Find your balance here. All that body weight goes into the left foot, lifting that right foot up. Now, as you kind of center yourself, focus your eyes on something unmoving and begin to tip back, bending into that left knee. Keep that sweet deep bend in the leg as you extend that right leg out. Set it down softly, coming into that warrior 2 on the other side. Reach long from fingertip to fingertip. Really squeeze those triceps. Maybe make a fist with both hands and punch in 2 opposite directions as you cinch that right hip in. Now, looking down at that left knee, keep it honest. If it's trying to sneak out of class a little early, really lift through that left heel. Roll the heel back down and deepen your stance. Good. Drop that right hand to that right thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Finding that exalted warrior. Maybe wrapping the right arm, tucking it into the left hip pocket. Maybe looking down at the right foot. Coming back out into that warrior 2 shape. Give yourself a moment. We can do this. Stretch the arms apart from one another. Reach fingertip to fingertip. Bend at your elbows. Coming into that goddess or goalpost arm. Stretch the left elbow apart from the right elbow. Draw the right hip in and descend. Breathe here for 3. You've got this. Soften your jaw. Good. Reach those arms all the way out. Straighten through that left leg. Press back into the right hip just a little. Reach long with that left arm. Drop it to your shin, to your block, to your brick. As you come into that extended triangle pose, maybe you turn the right toes in and the heel a little wider. See if you could extend in 2 directions. And then maybe if you'd like, tuck the chin to the chest and turn and look up towards your right arm. Breathing here for 3 big inhales. Feel the pubic bone lift towards the navel, giving that pose a little power. Roll to the big toe side of your left foot. Micro bend that knee and rise back up into that warrior 2. Straighten through your left leg. Turn all 10 toes. Exhale, tip from your hip. Find that fold. Walk your hands over to your right foot, back to the front edge of your mat. Plant your palms and step that right foot back into your plank position. Now, just like you did before, squeeze your inner arms towards one another. Feel that chest muscle really active here. Zippering that low belly. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower your knees down to the mat, coming back to that tabletop position. Inhale, flaring your tailbone back, dropping the belly down, send your eye gaze to neutral. Exhale, tuck and roll through the spine, coming into that cat stretch. You got this. If that felt good, do it again. If something else feels better, do that instead. Move in the way you move. And when you're ready, you're going to want one of your blocks or one of your books as you walk your hands forward, lower knees, chest, and chin, scoop into your baby cobra, release your legs nice and long. Little bit of a back bend. Squeeze those elbows beside you. Maybe circle the shoulders around. We've been focusing a lot on back bends, a lot on heart openers, so today we're going to focus on handstands. Scooting yourself back on your mat just a little to make sure that your body is well represented by your mat. Take that book, and you're going to take it in your hands at the longest level. Tuck your toes under and energize your thighs so that your knees lift away from the floor. Now pull the low ribs in, kind of tight here. Looking down at your mat, raise your arms with that block in between your hands. I know it's hard, working the shoulders in a much different way, working that upper back. Keep your breath going. Inhaling, you're breathing in. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Exhaling, you're breathing out. 2 more rounds. Squeeze that block. Squeeze that book. Head in line with your spine. You can do this. Slowly lower the book down. Reach the arms back if you'd like. Or take the arms forward and lift into Shalabhasana or locust pose. Maybe if you're reaching those arms forward, you keep the head in line with the spine again, making sure that you're not taking anything into the neck that really should be in the rest of the core. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then slowly hands come down under the shoulders, tuck your toes. We're gonna press to plank, but if you'd like to come through knees, please do. Take your time, energize the body, pressing up. Inner arms turn to face one another. You know this well. Zipper that low belly in, find that breath. Inhaling and exhaling. On that next exhale, lift your chest towards your thighs, press it up and back, downward facing dog. Lift that right leg a little higher. You don't even have to take it all the way up towards the ceiling here, and let's just play a little. So before we lift and lower with that left heel. This time, as you firm your hands on the mat, squeeze the inner arms towards one another, take a little hop. You could just find that lift and lower if you prefer. Make sure your elbows stay really straight here. And then stepping back into that dog, pedal those feet, look forward, walk, float, tippy-toe, or hop the feet in towards the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back to your fold, sit back, chair pose. Press the floor away and rise, coming into that mountain pose. All of your body weight goes into your left foot, lifting that right thigh. Palms could press to heart center, or arms could reach behind you, tipping, bending into that left knee, reach it back, find that pause. Zipper that low belly, see if you could straighten through that left leg just a little in your warrior 3. Now keep it juicy, rebend that left knee, opening out warrior 2. Straightening your left leg, tip, reach, breathe. Anchoring that right hand to your hip, stay in that little half triangle space. Squeeze that left thigh super tight here. Good. Keep breathing. I know. You thought the video paused, but no, we're here. We're engaging, taking that little tiny twist, heart open to the long edge of the mat. 2 more breaths. Maybe you turn to look up towards that right shoulder just out of habit. If you do, maybe look at the left hand. Change things today. Our whole world is changing. Micro bend that left knee, rise back into that warrior 2. Straighten through that left leg again, turn all 10 toes, exhale, tip from your hip, finding that fold. Inhale, take your half lift. Exhale, walk your hands forward on the mat. Coming into a downward facing dog, upper body. Curl your fingers and lift, tenting your hands away from the earth again. Bend your knees and straighten them back out. Do that again. Bend your knees and straighten them. One more time. Bend your knees and straighten them back out. Walk the fingers back in under the eye gaze, little half lift. Exhale, pivot around towards your right foot at what used to be the back edge of your mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left foot. You're in your plank position. Rock slightly forward, lowering knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga. Switch to the tops of your feet, finding up dog or baby cobra. Open the collarbones. Exhale into downward facing dog. Beautiful work, my friends. Now centering up a little with that right leg, perhaps left leg lifts up. Squeeze your inner arms towards one another. Now option to lift and lower, taking that right heel off the floor. Curl the fingers on the mat, squeeze the arms tight, and maybe you just find a little hop. If you're already in that hop space, pull the right hip in. Pull it in. Pull it in. Pull it in. One more time. Pull it in. Step back into that dog. Look forward. Walk, float, tippy-toe, or hop the feet in towards the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, sit back, chair pose. Good. You guys are kicking my butt this week. Press the floor away and rising all the way up, coming into that mountain pose. Lift that left thigh. It comes up parallel to the floor. All your body weight goes into your right foot. Now let's see if we can swing it, tipping from the hip, bending the right knee. Get juicy with it. Come on, you've got these strong limbs. Let's use them. Maybe you straighten out a little through that right leg, but use your strength, not just locking out the joint. And then bend that right knee again, stepping open into your warrior two, facing to the long edge of your mat. Straighten through that right leg. You know where we're going. Reach, 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 reach. Pause. Good. Left hand drops to left hip. Keep squeezing, reaching out. This right thigh muscle gets super strong. Again, don't go hypermobile. Stay in that space of work. Dialing those inner thighs forward and coming to your edge. You've got this. Sometimes just kind of talking for a minute takes your mind off of this half triangle. Not really. Breathing. You might look out over that right hand. Maybe you turn and look up over that left shoulder. You know your practice the best. Reach one more time. Little rebend in that right knee, coming back into your warrior two. Whew. Hello, hamstrings. Straighten through that right leg. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of your mat and take that tip from the hip on your exhale. Inhale, finding your half lift. Exhale, this time walk your hands back. Now they could rest on the earth. Fingernail side of the hands come down. Or you could walk your hands back and bend your elbows at 90 degrees. Inhale to find that half lift. Exhale, maybe pull yourself through the center, one way or the other. Again, inhale, activate the legs. Exhale, pull yourself through the center. One more time, press your feet apart from one another. Use those glutes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pull yourself through the center. Pause. Press your feet apart from one another. Inhale, walk the hands forward, coming underneath the eye gaze. Pivot back towards that left foot at what used to be the front edge of your mat. Step your left foot back to meet your right foot. Squeeze your inner arms towards one another. Ignite that low belly. And pause. Zipper, zipper, zipper. Now, if you'd like a little spicier, you can lower the left knee or keep it lifted as that right heel pulls in the air. We'll take 10 heel pulls. 8, 7, pulse it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dropping the right foot. Squeeze the inner arms towards one another. Left heel lifts. Pulse it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lowering those knees down to the earth. Hands walk back under the shoulders. Inhale, taking that cow. Exhale, rounding into that cat. Inhale into cow. Exhaling into cat. And pressing back into child's pose. If you're leaving me after this first half an hour, have a wonderful day. Remember to take your Shavasana if it's available to you. If you're staying with me, come into that extended child's pose, tenting up, lifting the palms away from the floor, curling those fingers, breathing, the pads of the fingers coming to the earth, energizing the arms. And then look forward and peel that heart forward, melting your hands to the earth as you come into that striking cobra. That was gorgeous, you guys. Lower that chest down, tuck the toes and wiggle yourself back. Grab that book or that block, squeeze it between your hands at the longest angle. So you really want to take it at the widest angle so your shoulders are working here. Tuck those toes under, lift the thighs away from the floor. Option to omit the block if you have any shoulder considerations, and let's find that laying down version of our handstand. If you're omitting the block, flip your hands so that the palms of your hands reach out and keep your head in line with your spine. Tuck the low belly in, make your back as long and flat as you can. Breathing here wherever you are for 3. If you have that block or brick, squeeze it to the midline for 2. Squeeze those inner thighs. Pull the low ribs in, take that last breath. And then slowly lower that book or that block down. Reach your hands behind you, lift your heart. Then start to lift your feet off the floor. Go calmly into that Shalabhasana. Calmly into that locust pose. Option to reach the arms out in front of you and take a little swim. Opposite arm, opposite leg working here. Breathing into whichever space you choose for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hands slide under the shoulders, tuck your toes, press right to plank position. Knees down first if that's you. Squeeze the inner arms towards one another, really energize those chest muscles. Good, 2 more breaths. You guys have got this. Now, rock yourself forward over your hands. So you go past your wrists and then back into down dog. We'll do that again, slow. Ripple forward, cat spine, and see if you can look past your mat so that your shoulders might even come past your wrists. And then lift the hips up and back, finding that down dog. We'll do that one more time. Maybe you're even coming to the tippy toes, round into that cat spine, reach forward, reach forward, reach forward, and then up and back into that down dog. Good, step that left foot sort of to the midline, right leg lifts up, option to lift and lower on those left toes, or squeeze the inner arms towards one another, square that left hip as you take a couple hops. Maybe you find a little hang time in that handstand, or maybe you're playing in a different way, reaching that leg back. This time, stepping that right foot down to the earth, coming into that down dog, look forward towards your wrists, and start to walk float tippy toe or hop your feet up the center line. Inhale to take your half lift. Exhale, heel toe your feet apart and sink into malasana or squat pose. Use this as an opportunity to rotate the wrists. We've been using the hands a lot today. Wiggle the fingers as we move into the second half of this power hour, keeping it powered up. Dropping those hands to the earth, lifting the hips a little. Step the right foot back to down dog. Step the left foot back to down dog. Center up with that right foot. Lift the left leg, reach it back. Squeeze the inner arms towards one another. Zipper the low belly, and find a couple hops. You're pulling that right hip back as you hop. Pull it back, square it. When you're ready, maybe you're just stepping all 10 toes to the earth. Look forward towards your wrists and walk float tippy toe or hop up the center line. Inhale, little half lift. Exhale, come into your fold. Heel toe your feet wider, sinking into squat or malasana. Give this as an opportunity to rotate wrists. Now, if you're very hypermobile in the squat like I am, make sure you're putting a little oomph into those muscles. And then send your right hand in front, your left hand behind, easing yourself back onto your mat. Squeeze the legs in towards one another and keep one block close by your side. Now take that block or that book between your inner thighs, reach your arms out in front of you. Your feet could be down or up. And start to slowly recline. Squeeze that block, pause. Option to stay or bring the arms up. Option to flip the hands like you're taking handstand upper body. Squeeze that block tight, 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 tight. Lift through the heart, but draw the shoulders down for 2 more breaths. You've got this. See how long and flat my back is. Make yours just like that. Sweep your hands down by your sides, hook those hamstrings, and lift yourself up. Scoot back a little. Still that block between the inner thighs as you come into Dandasana staff pose. Squeeze your arms alongside your hips, palms face down, shoulders roll back, heart opens. It's almost like you're pressing yourself down, almost like you're going to lift your seat. Good. Flex those toes back towards your nose. Tuck your chin in, finding Jalandhara Bandha, which is a nice little throat lock. You might think of it as like selfie throat, you know, when you kind of tuck in just a little, maybe a little too much sometimes. I could take some advice on the selfies if you guys have any. Good, and then reaching the arms all the way out in front. Again, energize your triceps. Squeeze the block to the inner thighs, bend the knees if you'd like, and again, lean back. Maybe this time you're leaning back, squeezing the inner thighs, energizing the legs, and again, taking those arms up. Whoa, it's like you're on a roller coaster just a little bit here. Tighten that space across the low belly, and flip your palms so that they're facing towards the ceiling. Maybe you're taking those feet onto the floor if you're feeling it's just a little too much for the lower back. One more breath here. Arms reach, lift yourself up nice and tall. Move your block out of the way and make sure you have plenty of space behind you. Reach a little past your feet. Tuck your chin to your chest and round, cat spine all the way down to the mat for a little Pilates movement. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Pull the low ribs in, tuck the chin to chest and go slow. Bend your knees if you need to as you curl up. Go past your feet if you can. Remember, sit and reach test in elementary school, just like that. Curl chin to chest and round down. Use those low belly muscles, tuck chin to chest. Bend the knees, hook the hamstrings if you'd like, rolling back up last time. Maybe grab your big toes, maybe alligator pincers, grab the outer edge of your feet. Inhale, the heart goes long. Soften your knees. Exhale, drape the body to the thighs. Hands drop to the floor or stay on your feet as you find that forward fold. Inhale, finding your half lift. Exhale, maybe starting to walk those sits bones out from underneath you. If you're very, very flexible, maybe bringing that block underneath the feet. Keep the heart rising and the belly dropping to the thighs first, instead of letting the back round and the knees hyperextend. 2 more breaths wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are. Truly, it's your practice. And we're all somewhere different from a literal standpoint, as well as from our practice standpoint today. Good. Ditch that brick if you have it, and slowly start to curl back up, 1 vertebra at a time. As you stack the head on top of the body, walk the heels once again to the mat. Drop your hands behind you and windshield wiper the legs from side to side, breaking up any tension that might be there. Cross your right ankle over your left ankle, coming to your seated position. Hands drop to your knees. Inhale, take your heart high. Pull your low ribs in and reach your arms all the way up for the ceiling. Flip your palms so they're facing the sky. Squeeze your biceps by your ears. Draw your shoulders down your back so you really feel the shoulder blades pull in. Squeeze the inner arms towards one another and take 3 more breaths right here. If you'd like a little spicier, start to straighten the legs out, coming into that staff pose lower body. Draw that low belly in, 2 breaths. 1 more big inhale and exhale. And then sweeping your hands down by your sides. If your legs are not already crossed, go ahead and cross them. Press your palms to the earth and maybe lift up and take a couple rocks. Maybe you shoot yourself back into a vinyasa. Maybe you take yourself and step back into your plank position, or swing your legs around to the side. Again, you know your practice the best, and I'll meet you back in downward facing dog from wherever you have been. Beautiful work. Center up with that right leg just a little bit, lifting that left leg, squeezing the inner arms towards one another, and we'll find that left leg lifts, so we take a little hop. Little hop. Curl your fingers on the mat, let them be your brakes. 1 more time. And then pull that left knee to the outside of the left elbow. Step the left foot down to the mat. Step the right foot forward into Malasana or squat. Drop the left hand to the center line. Inhale, take the right arm up. Slowly bring that right hand back down. Take the left arm up. Bring that hand back down. Take that right arm up. Option to wrap that right arm behind your back, taking a bind. Option to take that left arm and wrap it in front of the left leg, taking that full bind in your Malasana. When you're ready, dropping both hands to the midline. Right hand comes to the center, left arm twists up. Maybe left arm wraps behind your back. Maybe right arm comes in front of the right leg and reaches back, internally rotating at that shoulder joint, taking that full bind. Remember, you're still active through those glutes, pressing the floor away. And then dropping that right hand to the center line. Take that left arm up, drop it back to the middle too, lifting the hips, heel toe the feet together. Inhale, take a half lift. Plant your palms on the earth, step back to plank position. Rocking forward past your wrists here, maybe coming to your tippy toes. And then rolling over your feet, maybe take it back to down dog. Good, left foot centers up, right leg lifts here. Now take that little hop as an opportunity maybe to find your handstand. Maybe you catch a little air, maybe not, it doesn't matter. You're looking for that L shape with your legs. And when you're ready, pull that right knee to the outside of the right elbow, tight, tight, tight. Step the right foot down, look forward, step the left foot in for Malasana or squat. Now give yourself a moment to rotate wrists, wiggle fingers, and let's take a crow pose. So if you're utilizing your books, I'm going to use my strengthening unicorn horn here. putting my hands on the mat, curling the fingers, middle of the hand is really active, looking forward towards my unicorn horn, setting my forehead on it, and then curling my feet off the floor. Then coming into that cat spine, keeping those inner arms to the mat, pressing my thighs against my arms, and my arms against my shins. And then slowly I'll meet you back in Malasana. Take your time, my friends. Rotate wrists, wiggle fingers, let it go. Good job, guys. Send that left hand in front, the right hand behind. Ease your way back onto your seat. Close those legs in towards one another. Option to place that block between the inner thighs. Reach your arms out. Squeeze your triceps. Shoulders lower down away from the ears. Option to make it a little spicier today by interlacing your fingers behind your back, but don't touch your face. And then starting to slowly lean back as you take your head back into that brain cradle. See if you could feel the corresponding zipper in the low belly. If this means you need to reach your arms back out, do it. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Squeeze. And then maybe you lift your feet off the floor, finding that Navasana boat pose. Keeping your hands behind your head, see if you could lower yourself down and find that hold. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly drawing the knees in towards the chest. Woo, give it a little rock from side to side. Now a couple options are going to come up here as we find shoulder stand. So traditionally speaking, hug the knees in a little tighter to the chest, lift the hips up, catching the back of the pelvis, lifting the legs all the way up towards the ceiling. Make sure your feet aren't listing over your head. You're going to reach them straight up, like there's something up there you're trying to touch with your toes. Now, if that isn't a great practice for your neck or your shoulders today, or you need a little more support, grab those 2 blocks. Good. They're going to come underneath your sacrum, and then lifting those legs up. Feel the inner thigh energy wherever you are, taking 3 more breaths, whether you're reaching those legs straight up towards the ceiling, stacking the hip over the shoulder, or whether you're here with a little more support. Energize your arms, breathe. Draw that low belly in. And then from wherever you are, fold the knees in towards your chest. If you're on your blocks, set your feet down, lift up, move your props out of the way. Or if you're up in that shoulder stand, slowly roll down. I'll meet you on your back. Hug those knees in towards your chest. Thread your feet into your hands or grab around behind your knees for happy baby pose. Take a little rock from side to side. Feel your spine get really neutral here as you tuck that tailbone down towards the floor. Soften your jaw. And then hooking through the hamstrings, close the knees in a little. Start to pull the knees to the chest and rock up a few times. Maybe you just take that rock around in your hollow rock. When you're ready, coming back into seated position on your mat. Now, it's possible you're going to want to utilize your wall. So if you're in the center of the room, take a minute to drag your mat to your wall. Keep your block or your book close by your side as you come to that wall space. Excellent. Straighten your legs all the way out towards the wall and use that block or that book to mark the place where your hip is. And then, giving yourself plenty of room, put both of your hands on the floor where that book is. Tuck your toes against your baseboard and lift your knees off the floor. It'll be the smallest down dog you've ever taken, and that's okay. You don't want to be too far away from the wall. Just like we practiced, squeeze your inner arms towards one another and step one foot to the wall with your knees bent, and then step the other foot to the wall with your knees bent. If you're not wanting to practice walking both feet on the wall, take one and keep the other one down in that downward facing dog leg. And then just practice rocking forward into the hands with that anchored leg on the floor. Or if you have both feet on the wall, keep them in line with your hips as you straighten through the legs, coming into that L shape. Breathing into L shape, bending the knees if you need to, squeeze the inner arms towards one another, lift the low ribs up and in, look down between your hands for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly step the feet down, coming back into your hero's pose. Remember that book or that block between your feet if you need a little more support. Close your eyes. Let everything come back into alignment. Even your breath. Good. Open those eyes. Now, you have your block or your book here close to the wall. Again, maybe you drag the surface of your mat near the wall. If it got away, keep that block here, or that book. You're going to put your hands close to the wall this time and step your one foot, whichever one you'd like, onto that book. The other leg's going to kick up towards the wall. Press the floor away and kick. Wonderful job. Pull that hip in and see if you can find a little hover, maybe hovering the heel away from the wall. Excellent. When you're done with one side, remember, even as a teacher, I've got a side I like to demonstrate and a side I like to pretend does not exist. Maybe you have that too. So let's go to your second good side. So make sure this book is not going to slide out from under your foot. Place it under the opposing leg, lifting up and finding that kick. You might surprise yourself on that non-dominant side. Keep looking down between your hands, zipper that low belly in, and see if you can find some control. Watch that book as you come back down, and I'll meet you in hero's pose. If you're still kicking, go for it, my friends. This is your playtime. Good. Maybe you're out in the middle of the yard. That's cool too. Soft grass. Good place to exit. And then rotate your wrists, wiggle those fingers one more time. And we'll just have a moment of play. So wherever you are, maybe we'll find a second to kick up against the wall. So arms completely straight. Step your right foot to the midline, lift your left leg up, and find that little kick. If you go past and kick the wall, that's fine. Try to hover the feet away from the wall. Or use the L shape. Or use that book or that brick underneath your foot. We'll play here for 5 more breaths. I know your wrists might be getting a little tired. Step that left leg to the midline and find that kick up. Again, you might be shocked when you practice that non-dominant side at how much control you really have. I'll meet you back in hero's pose when you're ready. One or both books underneath the tail as you sit back. Palms flip facing up, an act of receiving. Curl your fingers in, and then curl your fingers all the way up towards your wrists. So you're really taking the opposite wrist movement than you have for this whole practice. Good, and then open your fingers out, spin your wrists one direction, and then the other. You guys are bringing it on Monday. I love it. Lift up just a little bit, moving those blocks or those books out of the way. Shift your hips over to the right and swing your legs around to the front. Inhale, taking your arms all the way up. Zipper that low belly in, micro bend your knees. Exhale, finding your fold. Inhale to take a little lift. Exhale, remember that belly drapes towards the thighs, so keep your knees as soft and bent as you'd like. If you're like me and you have a tendency to stickle your feet just a little bit, really take the outer edges out to the sides. Those pinky toe sides of the feet, reach out and open. Inhale to take the heart long, head in line with the spine. Exhale, find your edge, whatever that is in your forward fold. If there's any discomfort in your lower back, please sit high. Maybe rolling up the back edge of your mat, maybe bringing a beach towel or a blanket underneath those sits bones and really get high. Find that surrender space here. And then walking the fingers back in, take the elevator back up. You've got this. Cross that left ankle over the right. Palms plant down by your side to your bricks or to the floor. Maybe you take a little lift up here. Maybe you swing forward and back, take a vinyasa, or swing your legs around to the side, ladylike, and come back to your tabletop position. Let's start the whole thing again. Just kidding. Inhale, flare your tailbone back. Drop that belly down. Send your eye gaze to neutral. Exhale, tucking and rolling through the spine, coming into that delicious cat stretch. And then pull your hips back towards your heels, walking the hands out, finding child's pose. That block makes a great place to rest your head. As you find a little more restful version of your child's pose today. And then walking the fingers back in towards your knees. You're coming back into your hero's pose. So remember to prop yourself up as feels best to you. You're taking that block or that book in your hands in its lengthways position again. Bringing it up and behind your head like you were going to do a little tricep movement. Squeeze the arms into the midline, pull the low ribs in, and see if you could find a hold here. If this is a little much for the shoulder, just drop that prop out of the way. Feel those elbows squeeze in towards your head and see if you could broaden across your shoulders. I know that's strange, but see if you could really keep that block or that brick in line with the back of your head. So not dropping it low, keeping it high. Squeeze the elbows in, pull those low ribs in, and take one more breath. Now remember that sensation as you take that brick up and out of the way. Walking those forearms down to the earth. Turn your hands so that your forearms are parallel to one another as you walk back to your plank position. If this is, again, a little too much for the rotator cuff, take your arms out in that traditional plank shape. So hands reaching to the top edge of your mat. Press the floor away, squeeze the inner arms towards one another, and breathe for 5. Head in line with the spine, low belly zippers in for 4. And 3. Unclench your jaw, guys. And slowly lower those knees back down to the earth. Walk it back to hero's pose. Grab that block or that book and take it up and behind. Squeeze your hands into the midline. You don't have to have the block or the brick there. So just like I was doing, maybe you're accidentally lowering it down. Take it in line with the back of your head. Where you would put a ponytail if you're a girl, or man bun if you're a guy. Squeeze those elbows into the midline. Broaden the scapula. Shoulders down and feel the shoulder girdle muscles work. Now pull the low ribs in, feeling the back really extend. Vertebrae get a little further away from one another, making space. Good, one more big breath here, you've got this. Work those shoulders. And then slowly take that block or that book up and over, walking those forearms back down to the earth. Take the opposite crossing this time. So it's almost like I dream of genie arms. One arm is layered in front of the other. Of course, if this is too much for that rotator cuff, then you can always take them out in front of you. Energize your legs. Pull the low belly in. Push your elbows into the mat and make sure that your shoulder is directly over your elbow. I know it's a little trickier when your arms are stacked. 5 more breaths right here. Inhaling, you're breathing in. Exhaling, you're breathing out. That's all the more complicated it needs to be. It's a little hard to actually sell that line because it feels really complicated right now. Slowly lower those knees down to the earth. Now take your arms and bring them all the way back out like traditional plank arms. Interlace your fingers and make it so that your pinky finger is not crossed. There's a straight edge on the pinky finger. Drop your hands down to the earth and tuck your toes to lift your knees, coming into dolphin. Now, pull the low belly in, pull those low ribs in, and make your back as long as you can. Let your head hang. If you'd like to take a headstand here, certainly you can, maybe pressing all the way up, tiptoe it in. Or if you'd like to just stay here in this anti-gravity space and work the rest of that upper back, really focusing on pressing the floor away and working through those scapula. Let the head hang, let the neck be easy, wiggle the jaw, bend your knees as much as you'd like, pull the low belly in, and shift the weight forward a few times. You have got this. As you get upside down, moving that lymph in the body, slowly lowering the knees down to the earth, walk it back into a very well-deserved child's pose. If you don't normally practice with me, please know this is about 5 more child's poses than I generally offer because you have been working incredibly hard in these inversions this morning. Start to soften your breath. Take a moment, maybe wrap your arms around beside your feet. forehead coming to the mat or to your book for embryo pose. As you exhale, give yourself an adjustment, letting the hips relax down towards the heels. Or if you need a little more love today, placing your hands between your calf muscles and your hamstrings, and letting them be the little meat of the sandwich, or cheese if you're a vegetarian, or tofu if you're a vegan. If your hands are between your calves and your hamstrings, slowly lift up. Walk those arms back out, coming back to tabletop position. Shift that right hip over to the mat and swing your legs around to the front. Scoot yourself in. Keep both of your blocks or your books by your side. And when you're ready, start to rise up on those tippy toes or keep your feet down, reaching the arms out. Zipper that low belly in. Maybe you're taking that interlace of fingers behind your back because you're feeling a little spicy today. Maybe thumbs rest on the base of your skull as you lean back. Maybe bottoms of the feet come to the floor as you keep that long line with your spine. See how far back you could lean without interacting with your tailbone. So really lift up. Good. And then straighten the legs out perhaps as you come into that full boat pose. Some people call it canoe, kayak, paddleboard, whatever it is for you. One more breath, you've got this. Then draw those knees in towards your chest. Roll your head back. Step the bottoms of your feet to the earth, lifting your hips, placing those books or those blocks underneath the sacrum, that fused vertebra. So it's not all the way up underneath the lower back where the tail hangs off. It's nice and supportive, even if you have some non-traditional props today. Feeling yourself anchor in. Open the arms out a little further. There's probably nobody next to you, but if there is, just say, hold on, I need a moment to open my arms out to the sides, or snuggle your dog or pet your cat, or maybe just let a little child rest with you in this moment of breath. Close your eyes. Let yourself start to transition out of the work. You are strong. If you'd like a bigger stretch, walk your right heel all the way to the top of your mat and then your left heel. Lengthening out through the legs, flex your feet, feeling the stretch in the fronts of the hips. And slowly walk the left foot in and the right foot in. Pressing your feet down, reach underneath you, moving those blocks or those books out of the way. Make sure they're clear as you roll down slowly, drawing the knees to the chest. Reaching out for the pinky toe edge of the foot or the big toe side, finding happy baby pose or anchoring your hands around behind your knees to take your clasp. Make sure the back of your neck is nice and long. Maybe take a little rock from side to side. Then press the bottoms of the feet in towards one another. Close the knees in. Step the feet down. Maybe that book underneath the outer edges of the thighs as you open the knees into reclining butterfly pose. Palms drop open to the sides, facing up. Closing your eyes, finding your breath. Remember that if it doesn't take the pressure off of your back to place your props underneath the outer edges of your thighs, put the block or the brick underneath your feet to elevate your feet. That can kind of take a little pressure off the lower back and the neck. Slowly roll your right ear over to the mat and come back to the center line. And roll the left ear over to the mat. Come back to the center line. One more time each side. As you rest in the center, option to straighten those legs out to come into Shavasana. Or keep your feet in that reclining butterfly pose. So you start to invest in your breath again. Feeling that little swirl in the back of the throat from your Ujjayi breathing. There are other sounds around you. Let them be there. The sound of your home, your practice space. Slowly start to turn it down as if you were turning down the volume on the radio. As you turn down that exterior noise, start to turn up the interior. Listening to the sound of your breath, making it the loudest focal point in your mind, in your ears. Please feel free to stay as long as you'd like. Or when you're ready, reach your arms overhead and your legs long in two opposite directions. Rotate the ankles and the wrists, wiggle the fingers. And then gently draw the knees in. Give yourself that little hug. Tip over towards your right or left side in that modified fetal position. And then when you're ready, pressing your way back up to seated. I'll meet you in Sukhasana, or sweet seat, your half lotus or full lotus. And as you get into that space, press your palms together, lifting your heart into your thumbs. Opening out your fingers, leaving the thumbs touching and the pinky fingers touching, but all other fingers open for Lotus Mudra. Let Lotus Mudra drop down just underneath the chin. Close your eyes, breathing in as if you were breathing in the scent of a lovely flower, the fruits of your practice. Melt your fingers together once again. Acknowledgement that you are growing, you are blossoming, even through this difficult situation. My name is Megan. It's been my great honor to guide you through practice today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste. You are amazing. Thank you so much for being in the practice with me today. Remember, if you'd like, show me your home practice space, tag me, tag our Facebook, or shoot me a text. You can always text me at 813-489-9644. If you have any questions, 813-489-9644. And you can send me a direct text if you have any questions or you want to show me your practice space. Thank you guys again so much for being patient with me as I start to bring you these live videos. And thank you so much for your ongoing support of the studio. We'll be back. We'll be in person with one another again. Peace and love. Have a wonderful day.